Hello. Good morning. Good evening. Good afternoon. I'm not sure what time of the day it is. I know it's at least one time of the day. So good night, just in case you are having these night time. How are you doing? I actually got to get it this time. I do apologise for last week. I'm still unable to get a copy of 26. So I don't have that Wraith Knight issue. I do have a Wraith Knight. So when it comes to what I think is in the back of this one, we're all right. I can still show it off, but I didn't get the second one. Sorry, I do apologize. I will try and get it in the future. If it's possible, I'll pick it up and I'll retrospectively look back at it. But until then, we'll continue with the ones that keep coming out. So this week we've got issue 27. Now, good morning, Al. Good morning. How are you doing? You all right? I'm sorry about last week. I know it was. I still can't get a copy yet, but we're working on it. So today we're going to start with bikes instead. So it looks like we get 2 bases and 4 flight stands, but I think that's because we get a duplicate in case you want 2 short or 1 long, 1 short, or 2 long, so you get an option of each, which is nice. The different flight stands from the old ones. The old ones, if I can go get them, I'm going to find one. Here we go. So the old bike, but the old stands, and I think I just snapped that by mistake. Instead of a ball, it was just a little peg. So that looks a little bit better. Hopefully it gets soon. As I said, it's not like I'm missing the model. I have the model already. So I might as well leave him out there for now. But I have the model, so it's not a huge loss. It's more irksome. I wanted to cover the magazine as well, and that's the bit that's irked me more than anything. Because some people do like to watch these reviews, and I feel like I've let all of you down because of that. So that's why I'm a bit miffed about it. But other than that, I've managed to get 27. I was in there right as the shop was opening. The woman even asked, like, "Are you waiting for something?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm waiting for Combat Patrol to go out." She's like, "Right, I'll look for it." So she did. We also get 2 sprues, which are identical. So I'm guessing it means we can put 2 bikes together out of the 6, which is why it's spread out over 3 issues. Essentially, this is going to be the same issue 3 times regarding models. So let's see what it gives us inside the actual magazine. We're going to get a how to build, which will just be get the sprue, follow the instructions, repeat 6 times. Painting is going to teach us how to relayer. We're going to learn some layering techniques. That should be fun. Could be nice. How to update your collection. So get all the paints that you've got, use all the layering techniques you've just shown you, and how to make everything else in the past that you've got. So you're going to have a lot to paint. You're going to have all your Infernus Marines, all your Termagants, all your Barb Gaunts, all your everything is going to get a little bit of just a little bit of and never quite enough to get to finish state, so you put it to one side. Bit of a shame, really. Then it's going to tell us about the aspect warriors of the Eldar. So that's a nice little reading section for those of you who do collect the magazine and like to read that themselves. As I say, I do like to cover only a little bit of it. If you want to know more, jump into the hobby. It's the best way to find out. And then we get another play section, which we get core rules. Number 1, Combat Patrol Space Marine versus Combat Patrol Tyranids. So I think it's going to give us a full layout of what we can take in a Combat Patrol mission as a force. Whether or not you get to take it all or not, I'm not sure. So let's get started. Ooh, we've got a sneak peek of what's to come then. Anyone who saw it? Anyone who saw it? Right. It's saying we have variants of the top piece. We don't. We all have what looks to be part number 19. Is it part number 19? Maybe it's supposed to go that way around. No, because that says 91 if I put it that way around. So where's 16? There's 7. Right, so first of all, we need 1 and 2, which is 2's there, 2's there, 1's there. That's the 2 halves of the bike. That is labelled as 16 for some strange reason, but it goes 19, 20, and 21 on there. So I think we may have some mislabeling going on again. But let's start how it tells us to, and that's part 1 and part 2. And as I said, it just literally says do this 6 times. Yeah, not much to go on, and then it's the techniques. Very, very quick and easy to put together, apparently. He's got very, very short instructions, let's put it that way. So parts 1 and 2 first. Seeing as it is a rinse and repeat operation, I might just put 1 together just to put it together, and then I can put the other one together off camera. I'm also thinking of making 1 into a spirit seer, because they can go on these bikes, and I've got 6 already. I'll have another 6, and then I'll have 3 spare bikes left over. So I could run 2 units and then make a couple of some spirit seers, I think. I hope. So how have you been, Al? As soon as you are typing away, and we didn't get to speak at all last week. Although I've got to say, I do wish I'd kind of got the subscription. But then you've got to opt out of a load of stuff and go, I don't want that, I don't want that, don't charge me for this, don't charge me for that, don't send me these, don't send me that. Because when I got the first one, the Conquest, I think it was called, then yeah, there was a load of additional charges and things that was just, it got silly money, where the savings wasn't quite as good as what it should have been. Because I didn't actually want the folders. I didn't really want some of the books that came with it. They weren't that much interested in them for me. I mean, I like the story that came with it, tell you about the Silver Templars. That was fun. But yeah, other than that, I didn't really get much out of the extras. Where are we up to now? Right, we're up to 4 and 5, which are the 2 end pieces. So 4 is the exhaust here at the end, that'll go at the back. And 5 is, from this side, it'll look like 2 little dots like that. From the other side, it'll have a nice little vent, and that goes on the front. I've lost it now. I found 5. Where's 4 gone? 4 was easy to find. There it is. Clip. Again, I'm the lazy mini painter, so there's steps that I'm skipping that people will be probably going absolutely nuts at. Those steps being the removing mold lines and cleaning up with emery, as a little sanding stick or an emery board or something. I do it sometimes, but I think it's really necessary. But unless it's extremely necessary, no, I don't. So this wants to go on this section, and it'll fit over like so. So it's got little grooves in it along there, and it's got little grooves in there, as you can see, and then they kind of fit together like that. So I'm going to put the glue on this bit. There we go. That's probably way too much glue. Then the exhaust goes on that. See, so I'm going to have 6 new bikes, 6 old bikes. Not sure how that's going to look on the tabletop, but okay. It's not time for your food yet, kiddie. Oh, awesome. Yeah, that is what I did this morning with mine, but I was up, for me, very, very, very early. So much so that tablets that even are in effect now were in much more of an effect when I went in. So yeah, I was barely conscious. I knew what was going down for. I knew what I had to get, and I couldn't really think about anything other than that at the time because my brain wasn't functioning. And I've got to say though, 2 bikes, especially if you're looking to convert stuff like into a Spirit Seer or something else, just to expand your army a little bit more, especially with these wraiths that we're getting, anything with that can help keep them going a little bit stronger or help boost them is always welcome. There we go, we've got a little vent on there at the front. So Spirit Seers are not a bad little unit for the purposes of wraiths. Now we want handlebars, which are going to flop into this little groove section here and this little back section. You were, weren't you? Any subscribers were offered that terrain set. Now, for £75, it is a saving on Games Workshop, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's quite enough for a full board, though, but it's more than enough for a Combat Patrol game. So the little boards that you get with it, I think you get them with it. If not, I think you get 2 with, end up getting like mats and stuff with Combat Patrol anyway, so they'll work, especially if you glued them onto a bit of hardboard or something so they can actually be quite sturdy. Yeah, it's not bad for Combat Patrol, but it's if you're going to look bigger than Combat Patrol, so if you're looking for a 2,000 point army, it's not quite enough to do a 2,000 or 3,000 point. You know, one of the bigger games. But nice looking though, very nice looking. The sculpts are absolutely awesome. Well, luckily, my W.E. Smith, they know me. Well, most of them know me. And if they don't know me, then the rest know about me. So I'm not too bad. It was just that one issue. And now that they're aware that I missed that issue, they're a little more aware of this. Kind of the last magazine to go out. And if I'm not there, I don't think it's going to get put out anymore. Which is great for me, but anyone who's thinking, yeah, I live in a town where nobody buys it, sorry. If there's one issue, it's mine from now on. Unless it's a new member of staff. That's your only hope. Help me, Obi-Wan, you might only... Sorry. Different franchise there. Now, I'm just going to dry fit these because I don't know if these go facing back or facing forward. I'm just going to look there. It looks like the little thingy bits go facing forwards. So they go like that way around. So the curves are on this upper side up here. So they're leaning forward rather than sitting back on it. I think more race back than chopper. No worries, mate. Waffle on. As much as I like to cover the Combat Patrol magazines for everyone, I also like it to be a little bit of a hobby hangout as well. So if people come along and have the magazine and want to put it together with me at the same time and ask questions and talk, go ahead. I do not discourage that. About the only thing I ask though is if I go wrong, correct me. If I manage to screw it up, which is quite possible, then yeah, please correct me. Right, so at the back we have two little bumpy bits in the just behind the rider, where we get two little 11, 10 and 11, which are these tiny bits. They need to go in with the pointy bit facing forward, right? And then wings come swooping out, like from the back there. And those are 8 and 9. Okay, and that's when we start putting the front bit together after that. I'm guessing it'll go weapons, and then it'll go guy. These bits have got to be a pain in the ass. I'm just going to let you know now. The small, the fiddler, they have 2 connection points, and they are not going to want to sit in the correct place. So 10 is on that side. And I'm just going to sand the top of that bit, because it is one of them places where it does actually need doing, because it's going to look really stupid if I don't. Mine's going to look stupid. Yours might look something. You might be able to snip it off so it looks bloody brilliant and part of the actual thing, but I am not that skilled. So I'm sanding it off. Right, it has got a little barbly bit that seems to fit in there. So I'm hoping that's going to stay there now. I know it's ridiculously small what it is. It's that bit. Hopefully it's going to stay there. It's not, is it? It's going to fall off. It's going to fall off when I put number 11 on. That's what's going to happen. Okay, your snips the right way around, Laz, you absolute moron. That's 11. This is why I like Space Marines so much. They're not as fiddly. Their arms and the sockets and stuff, they've got a little bit of size to them, so it's not as bad. Eldar stuff is small, and yeah. It's delicate, and you've got to be careful of things like alignments and things like that. See, that's just way off. That was. So something's not going to go right, and in this case, it's the positioning of these two things. One of these things is not like the other. That's because it's a dick and won't glue. I won't sit in the right place, at least. I'm trying to get as symmetrical as possible, even if it isn't in quite the right place. There we go. If we let that set, it should be close enough. Ah, crap. Right, yeah, it's 10. That's really not in the right place. And this is the joys of Eldar modeling. You have very flimsy little bits that you have to get to sit in certain positions in sockets that aren't quite bloody right. And yeah, Eldar are an ass. Pompous bunch of bloody space elves. That's what they are. Pompous bloody space elves. Even the ones that claim, no, we didn't fall to Slanesh. Yeah, you might as well fucking have done. Just as ostentatious and just as bloody arrogant. Just because you abstain from sex. Rant over. There we go. Now, is this supposed to go like right over? Up, yeah, this is supposed to go right over, up to the back of the console. Let's go really close to the handlebar section. And then it's got to be the misnumbered bit, which is this bit. It says it's 19. It's got a 16 next to it. Let's hope the others say 20 and 21, eh? Find out next week. Will we get 20 or 21? Who knows? Who knows? I do know I've received something else today, which I may continue on to at the end of this as a bit of a bonus. Or I may just do it as a separate thing entirely. I've not decided on that yet. But I do know I have something else to look at. That is not combat patrol. Well, it kind of is. It could be. It could be combat patrol related if you seriously wished it to be. But it isn't necessarily officially Games Workshop. So, well, I say necessarily. It isn't official Games Workshop. It is, however, from a very good friend of the channel. And I say good friend of the channel as I have paid for this. Don't worry. It's not like it won't be a paid promotion thing. I bought this. I spent my money. And I've got hopefully some nice proxy units, which is what I'm looking forward to. That would be nice. You're getting to see stuff again because I've got to turn magazines over. Right, so this is what, 45. 45, and it's telling us there's a pin on the bottom that we can't bleeding cut off. Right, it's not 45, it's labelled as 32 on the sprue there. So, yep. Little knobbly bit, 32, right there. You can't see it on the camera. See, there you go, 32. That is not a 45. That says 45. Just in case you don't believe me, I'm just going to bring it up a bit closer. That says 45. That is not 45, that's 32. Fucking stupid dumbass. Fuck. Nope, joking. What's it? Spending so much time bouncing up and down on fucking joysticks. Yeah, that's what I said. I said joysticks. Then they might have actually got it right, so it was labelled properly. Have you got this one right? Yeah, this one's 15. This one's right. This is the topper. I mean, come on. At least I've got an understanding. I've put many sprues together, and so I can look for parts as opposed to numbers. But there are going to be some people who have never done this before, and how on earth are these people supposed to make head and a tail of this crap if they can't even get it right? If they can't even put the right numbers in the right bloody places, how is anybody supposed to be able to? And that bit doesn't even fit in there. Not the way they're telling me it should. Now, if you're supposed to stand proud, then that is not the right piece. Look, that's going in that way, and I don't see how it would fit the other way. Hang on a minute. It might be that bit of sprue there. There might be a tiny bit of sprue still attached to this bit here. We're going to do everything we bloody well can to make sure if there is no tiny bit of sprue attached there. There is no tiny bit of sprue attached there, and there is no tiny bit of sprue attached there. Right. What have I just flattened out that I shouldn't have? Nothing. Good. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. It's still not going in. You son of a... This is why I don't make it for kids, because this is a son of a fucking bitch. So kids who are wondering, why can't I watch this man reviewing this? Because this man's got a foul mouth. Adults, if you want to put it on for your kids, that's entirely up to you. But yeah, I swear. Right. I've had to use the age-old method of force. Which can break models, so be careful. But yeah, force works. Now, did I clip the other bit out, or did I leave it in? And I bet I clipped it out in preparation for it going straight on top. Yeah, there it is. Now, this is supposed to sit flush. It ain't gonna now. Because, well, that last piece was a dick. No, it's not completely flush, but it's livable, I suppose. I did forget to do 8 and 9 though. See, I knew I forgot something. I forgot to do 8 and 9, which are the sweeping wings from the back. Where the fuck's the... always try and make sure you cut the right section of the sprue when you're cutting off the nub sections, because that bit you could have accidentally cut off a bit where you shouldn't have. That was really easy. That would have been really easy to do. Good job I checked. This bit's not too bad because you can see the nice flat edges. You can see, yeah, that's supposed to be there and that's supposed to be there. But not all bits are like that. Right. So that's going to go on that side. And there. That's supposed to go in. Yeah, that goes in there. Right, okay. So that bit does go in there. I did dry fit it a minute ago. And it'll look swoopy forward like that. Good morning, Twisted. Good morning. How are you today? Hope you're feeling a little bit better. We're currently, I believe, Ali's joining me and also putting these together, or at least watching along. Currently doing Eldar windriders. Because, yeah, I've already got 9. It's not like I needed, it's not like I needed more. Right, so I can either have a twin shuriken catapult or a scatter laser. Scatter laser looks better. I think. So what's the other one? So hang about, wait a minute, no. No. You're not doing this to me. Right, that's the scatter laser. That's the twin shuriken catapult. What the fuck's that? And why is it not telling me I can put it on? Good morning, Graham. Ah, Graham, guess what arrived today? Thank you very much, mate. I've not opened the box yet. It's sat down underneath me, but it arrived. It arrived just before the stream, so awesome. Right, now you see, I want to know what the other one is. What's the other option? Why they only? He's got 3 guns, and it's telling me what 2 of them are. Good morning, Beaky. Good morning. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do now because he's got 3 guns, and all of them clip under there. All of them glue in under that bit. But it's only telling me what 2 of them are. So until I find out why I can't. In fact, you left on all the supports you better bleeding not have. If I've got to rip off supports, you're getting a bad review. Right. Eldar windriders. No, I don't want Warhammer. Warpedia. I should do it. Scatter laser, shuriken cannon, or twin shuriken catapult. Any number can change their twin shuriken catapult with either a scatter laser or a shuriken cannon. Going off the profiles, scatter laser get these 6 attacks with sustained hits 1. Shuriken cannon is 3 attacks with lethal hits and a better strength and a better AP and better. Yeah, I'm putting the 1 on it tells us we can't put on. I'm putting the shuriken cannon on. Yeah, so I'm going for the one it says not to. If you haven't figured it out, that kind of happens a lot for me. So it's going to say one of those 2 weapons. If your friend's all right with it, you can put the shuriken cannon on and just tell him, look, for combat patrol purposes, this time it's a scatter laser. This time it's a twin shuriken catapult. And then if you play codex-wise and play full rules, then you can go, no, it's a shuriken cannon. Now I'm going to blow you to fucking hell. See, it works. It's a nice thing. Proxying is always good. I like proxying. As long as it's a relatively even proxy. Or it's the person is at least going at a disadvantage to a degree. For instance, my bear. If I was to use Lavarus, then my opponents are more than likely to say yes because he's bigger than the standard fucking dreadnought. He's easy to see. Okay, so once you've done all that, now we move on to section 4. See, 45, that bit doesn't change regardless of the bloody weapon. I don't understand why they've done that. Fucking nabbits. So yeah, section 4. Now we're looking for the dude. Now, saying we should have 3 different heads. We haven't. We've only got 1, same as the fronts and the tops bit. So, yay. The options made for us. It's nice when you get easy choices, isn't it? So it says start with the torso. Find the front and the back of the torso. You've only got 1 of each on each sprue. So they're not giving you any choices, even though it says you've got choices there. You've only got that choice if you wait until you've got all 3 magazines. That's when you get all the multiple options and things. So if you're not, and you're rushing and you're doing it like me and just putting them together as it comes along, then, well, yeah, it's the 1 torso. I should imagine the bikers and the bikes should all be pretty similar and easy to put together in the same way. So once you've done 1 set, you should be able to quite happily sit there and do the rest of them and not have much issue unless you forget to snip a bit. Yeah, forget to snip a bit. I didn't clean some that up. So there was bits that were going to stop it from sitting flush. We don't want that. So we clean them off. And now we get it to sit together, hopefully. Right. Line it up. Push together, make sure it's together. Why is that still not right? What's sticking out off these? I've got a feeling they're actually supposed to be there, but they're getting in my way, so I'm getting rid. Some very tiny little stubby bits at the bottom of the bodies, and they seem to stop it from putting it together. So, yeah, snipping them off, and huzzah! The body now fits. It fits, but the glue hasn't dried yet. So that's because I let it get really tacky first. So yeah, it's my own fault. So a head and then his legs. I don't know what he's saying times 4 and times 2 for when he's pointing at these. Unless you're supposed to make 4 with that gun and 2 with that gun. But I'm making all mine with the other gun. They have to make it awkward, don't they? I know we want you to have different weapons on these, on these things. Just one guy has got different. Yeah, it's just awkward. It's ridiculous. So, reading stuff. Start and strip and start again. That is how we do things when we have to. I'm not looking forward to stripping out my Space Marines, to be quite honest. They do all need doing and restarting again. And I know it doesn't sound like a fun job for everybody because of how many I've got, but they need doing. They do. They're not as good as what I could do with them anymore. Good morning, Joey. Wow, you are up early. Coffee, smoke, and work, is it? I suppose it's a nice wake-up call for you. Somebody's live. I hope you are having a good start today, at least. How the fucking hell is this supposed to go on here? Right. Let's have a look. Is there any nubbly bits? Right. There is a little bit there that looks like it's supposed to go into. Aha. Right. So this does have a little catch bit. It is not actually a nubbly bit, but it is a little lumpy bit, and there is a section there in the bottom of his leg for it to go into. Oh, you've been working an hour? So yeah, definitely coffee. Coffee's going to keep you going. Coffee's your friend today. So yeah, when you put it in, it will match up to the leg line. It is a little fiddly though. I will warn you now, it's fiddly. Then the other leg. You actually put the legs. No, they've called the arms. One of the legs is 31. Both of the arms are 22 and 23. So the legs are labeled wrong as well, just so you know. They might be right on some of the other sprues, but on this particular sprue, they're all bloody wrong. Well, not all wrong, but there's been at least a few wrong, which is not good. That's not good. If you're trying to run this as a business and sell it to people, then at least get the fucking numbers on the sprue right. If you're going for non-metallic metal on them, then yeah, it will. bloody nut. You're going for non-metallic metal Necrons. You sadistic. I have no sympathy. You're doing it to yourself. Same as when I do the Space Marines, it's gonna be my own fault. And this is just not working. Right. Right, these Eldar bikers have got to be the fiddliest, pain in the ass, little twats I have ever had the displeasure of building. Right, I'm going to have to wait for that leg to fully dry because it's just a knobhead. Yeah, we all are really though. We're all glutton for punishment, really though. Twisted. What sane person would sit here and do this? Says a lot about me, doesn't it? Not only I'm sitting here doing it, I'm sitting here doing it for the pleasure of other people to watch me get frustrated and see what you get in the magazines and any problems that may occur. Because I can guarantee if there's a problem that's going to occur, it'll happen to me, such as legs not fitting right, and when you're trying to put the other leg on, it fucking falls off. Right. No, get. See, now you're just all weirded up. What are you doing? Half the bloody. Oh, now it's just getting stupid. Half the bloody backs. See, the problem is, I know that the level. I can worry about his legs after I've actually got him in the right place. So I know he's gonna fucking sit on where he's supposed to. There we go. Is it him? Yeah, this one's a him. You sit there and dry for a minute. So all I've got left to do now is glue the two arms on. That's not going to be, just let you know, that's going to be a fucking nightmare. That's like the legs, but smaller. And I'm going to put the head back on. So we've got two pieces left. But with this being such a little shit and falling to pieces, if it's not 100% dry, I'm going to leave them two bits for a moment. Because I only talk through the painty bit anyway. Because I do the painty bit myself on Mondays in my own special little way. So, technique relayering. Relayering is a technique that is used to brighten up the highest parts of the model by building layers of the original base coat over the shade paint. Okay. This increases the difference between the darkest and the lightest parts of the model, which can make the shadows on the model look darker. You can. They're right. It does. So after you washed it with the wash, whichever wash it was with these ones, I think it was the burgundy or the red. I can't remember which wash it was, but it was that color wash. They've gone back with the original base color, thinned it out a little bit, and just cut all the high edges. So have I done it anywhere on the model that I can show you quickly? Yeah, kind of. So if you look at the Tyranids here, the parts that are still black are obviously the parts that were deeper in the recesses when I went over it with the brush. I did this with a slap chop method, so it was a dry brushing method really. But you can see where the higher edges are brighter and the lower recesses are darker. It wants you to do that with just small layers, building up slowly. So as you put your first layer on, you'll cover most of the model, leaving only the darkest of darkest. And then on the next layer, you won't cover it quite as much. And then the final layer will just be the very top edges, just bring out that extra edge onto them. This does include all the other things as well. So building up layers, as you can see there, the first layer is gone out and it has lightened it. It's lightened it from this dark pinky bit to a lighter pinky bit. But as they come back over it again, it becomes much lighter, and then you get to that mid-tone in between, and then you get the dark point. So multiple layers in smaller patches can help bring it brighter, especially if you're using really thinned out paint. You can get a nice transition as well. So I want you to go over all the Tyranids the same way, touching up any bits that may need touching up. So if you've spilt over a bit, doing the white on the Tyranid and the little, the little tiny bits on the arms of Tyranids and things, then go back in with the wash and then just clean it up a bit. Not forgetting to do inside of mouths for teeth, and anything that's on bases in this case. So on the Space Marine Captain in Terminator armor, he does have part of a Carnifex on there, or Screamer Killer Carnifex. So don't forget to do that bit as well, even though it's on Space Marines. And then relayering your Space Marines. So going back over with Corax White and anywhere that would require it, because obviously these had washes of Null Oil last time. So some of the higher areas, especially on the Terminator shoulder pads and the Captain shoulder pad, will require a touch up of white just to bring it out. And same with the Eldari, with any of the, wherever you've given Null Oil wash to the white will require a touch up, and anywhere that you've washed over the cloak, again, bringing up those higher edges, go back to the original color and just thinly put it on until you can bring it up to a nice bright point. I really feel like that. Well, nothing that I've done with a brush anyway. Well, that's showing a quick show there before and after. You can only really tell on the shoulder pads. One looks quite grey, and then it's much whiter. Same again with all the other pieces, and the before and after for the Eldari. It does look a little bit brighter, but it's not done too much for the Eldari guy. For the Farseer, it's not done much at all for him. He's going to need a little bit more work. A little bit. He's going to need a lot more work. And again, we're going to give us the Tyranid version. Now, this is the bigger contrast. So you can see it's very pink there for the Wing Prime. And then once you've finished layering up the lighter colours, it's a much bigger contrast, whereas this is much darker and more in color with the armor. This is 3 distinct colors now. Again, with the Psychophage, very distinct colors, and it would have done the same with if they mild the smoke coming out the top, for instance. Then again, layer up to bring out the higher edges. But that's roughly what your model should look like if you're following their painting guides and you're practicing as well to actually be able to control your brush. If you're not, then it might not look quite that good, but it should look close. And either way, you can always be happy that it look better than mine. So, Aspect Warriors. And it's telling us about Dire Avengers this time, apparently. So I'm just going to read the bold text, and if you want to read the rest of your edition, go ahead, because there's lots of interesting lore in these. There are many aspects of Cain, the bloody-handed god. Those Azurani on the path of the warrior will dedicate their whole being to studying and perfecting a discipline based on a single one of these facets. Known as Aspect Warriors, these combat specialists are amongst the most deadly warriors in the galaxy. So they're the ones that literally split themselves off. Go, I'm going to be dedicated fire dragons. So mastering the fire pike, mastering flamers, mastering melters. Some striking scorpions, masters of stealth, ambush attacks, swooping hawks, fast moving, flying across the battlefield, warp spiders, short little jumps. And so depending on which side of aspect of war they wish to proceed down, they will choose one and master it. I've only got dire avengers and dark reapers. So I've only got two. I've not got warp spiders or swooping hawks or fire dragons or striking scorpions. Oh no, I do have windriders now. I have windriders. They're another aspect warrior. But in this case, you've got shining spears, which are windriders, but better at melee because they have big looking spears. So dire avengers, which are the kind of the just standard upgrade to a guardian. Shining spears, which are the better versions of bikes. Warp spiders, which are short range jump usually, but teleporty, blasty. Can be all right in melee, but well, they're Eldar. The toughness 3 and strength 3. So yeah, they're a bit squishy. Fast but squishy. Howling banshees, which are a close quarters unit, usually all equipped with power swords and pistols. Striking scorpions again, which is another close quarters unit. I've got to say I do like these new striking scorpions models. They are nice. Some of the extra upgrades you get if you do get the kill team box, like Twisted did, then you will get some upgrade sprues that you don't normally get in the box. But usually it's essentially the equivalent of a power fist, chainsaws, and pistols. But they can swoop, come out of ambush and stuff, so they're not too bad, and they have some quite nice abilities, I think, in New Edition. I don't have the codex, so I'd have to look, but nice models nonetheless, and for some reason they always follow the same patterns. Yeah, that's not going to do that. My arm is going to be painted in one way, not every unit different, like these do. They're weird. Fire dragons, which are your anti-vehicle, anti-monster type unit at close range, so melters and flamers. And then you've got dark reapers, which are your long-range missile launchers. So again, anti-vehicle, anti-infantry, anti-elite, but at long range rather than short range. Won't be as strong either, I don't think. And lastly is the swooping hawks. Now these are kind of like the water spiders. They do move fast, but these are the fly through the air, jump pack type ones rather than the short hoppy teleporty ones. Mostly they have ranged weapons, but I think you can equip some kind of melee, at least on the sergeant-ish model of the squad. And you also have Crimson Hunters, which are flyers. I don't ever intend to get a flyer. I don't like flyers. I've never liked flyers since their introduction. Off to the flyers. Next is play core rules. Introduction. So we'll get onto that after. Now that this fella should be dry, I'm going to finish off with the head and the arms for this guy, and then we'll get onto the core rules, how to play. Remembering that I hadn't actually finished the model in the first place. It took me over an hour now, or nearly over an hour to do a singular model. That's not good going. I'm blaming the model's fault and the fact that I'm reading a magazine as well. That makes it slightly longer to do because I'm talking and looking at other things as well as. I mean, if I didn't want to do it, then I should just not do it. But so don't worry if you're watching and thinking, "Oh, I'm putting him off." You're not. If I didn't want to do it live on camera, I would not do it live on camera. So don't worry. Do not to worry. It is the model's fault and the magazine's fault and nobody else's. See, because nobody can make this arm do what I need it to do apart from me. Let's face it, because I'm the one sat here with the model in my bloody hand, trying to get it to go right. One arm. And his head. All done. I've got two. See, I got that lucky deal where I got too much Eldar now. So, yeah, what? 20 Dire Avengers, 20 Guardians. I've already got 10 Wraith Constructs, the small Wraith Constructs and the Wraith Lord, which is up there at the minute. As well as far too many bloody bikes. And 2 Farseers. So having the Farseers to be able to hang around near the Wraith Constructs is nice, but I would like some Spirit Seers as well, just to make sure that those constructs are getting as much bonuses as they can in every edition. Because Spirit Seers are very, very well tied to the Wraith Constructs. It's kind of, if you want Wraith Constructs, you need a Spirit Seer to control them, at least in some editions, and other editions to give them boosts and buffs and stuff. So it makes sense if you've got a lot of Wraiths to have a Spirit Seer. Okay. No. Now I'm keeping him detachable from the bike so I can paint it. But once it's done, it should look something like this. And then you will get a ball, one of the ball joints, which are there, and they fit into that section under there. So you can position them into different angles and things, but you do have to super glue that bit, and it's a... Get all your cursing out now, get all your swear words out now, and then try it. It's one of those type of things. You thought those arms were bad? Yeah, try getting that damn thing to stay. I'll more than likely pin mine with wires. That's what I'm looking at to do with all my... Anything that's got this little plastic flight standy thing, I'm looking to replace. Complete across the board. So Space Marines, Eldar, anything that's got a flight pack, I'm looking to replace. So now we have the one bike put together. It's the same process again. So over the next 2 weeks after this, we'll get the other 4. I'm not sure what I'm going to do over those 2 weeks because it's just going to give me more freaking bags to put together, isn't it? And I've already got the instructions. Yeah, I'll put that one together off camera because fiddly bits. But the others, again, I'll put one on and do the other one off. We'll go like that from there and see what else is covered in the magazine as well each time. So, introduction of the core rules. Welcome to Warhammer 40,000 Core Rules. The following pages contain everything you need to know in order to wage glorious battle across the war-torn galaxy of the 41st millennium. It's so fun. Warhammer 40,000 is a tabletop wargame in which players command armies of citadel miniatures and attempt to defeat their opponent through a mixture of skill, tactics, and luck. Storytelling is at the core of Warhammer 40,000, with the rules designed to bring to life the epic conflicts between the forces of humanity, aliens, and demons in the grim darkness of the far future. Right. So basically, giving us background fluff there. I've not just got into rules yet. So let's have a quick summary of this. It gives us the phases, and it tells us, remember, it's a game. Have fun. If you can't figure it out with the rules, just have a quick roll off. Whoever wins the roll off, what they think goes, and then carry on. So they're telling you not to be rules lawyers. Don't be dicks. Don't sit there and go, but technically that means I can do... Not in the spirit of the game. No. Fucking play for fun. Dickhead. So, Combat Patrol Collection. The full core rules are an important addition, and that will help you get the most out of Warhammer 40,000. Sorry, the Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol Collection. I didn't realize all that was one section. Read on to find out how you can use them to fight epic battles and tell amazing stories. Okay. This section contains the core rules of Warhammer 40,000. They build on the rules you have already learned in B, Basics. If you prefer, you can continue to use the rules that you have already learned. However, if you wish, you can start to add more tactical decision making to your gameplay by using the rules in this section. Either for games of Combat Patrol or for games of Warhammer 40k, so it seems you can use them in both. That's alright. The complete Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol collection contains 9 pre-selected armies called Combat Patrols, along with some additional units that are not part of the Combat Patrols. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we are getting additional units. These forces can be used in a special game mode called Combat Patrol, which uses the rules that you will receive in this and future issues, along with the missions found in G core missions. You may also notice that each page in the C core rules section has a page number. Unlike other sections of the Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol magazine, this is because in some places the rules refer to other parts of the rules using these page numbers. If you need to find a page number, you only have to look within this section, and you will not be referred to any other part of your binder. So keep all your rule sections together. Where are the core rules? Update incoming. Some extra information is released to update and clarify or fine-tune some things. Scan the QR code if you want to find out any more refined rules. That's their nice little caveat of saying when Games Workshop releases models and releases a codex, the rules are usually outdated on the day of the release of the codex. So go on the website, check out the erratas and the FAQs for the changes in the rules. That's probably what that's going to do. That little QR code is going to do for you already. So, core concepts. And this is going to be the bit that goes at the front, I'm guessing. An introduction to the essential terms and concepts that underpin the very Warhammer 40,000 battles. So that will be your phases and what happens within each phase. Next, it will be battle round, covering, exactly as I said, for each phase as it goes through, including setting up terrain, who goes first, and then proceeding from the turns thereafter. Data sheets and unit abilities will be pages 37 through 39. Strategic reserves and how to use stratagems will be pages 41 to 43. It'll cover terrain features, mustering your army, missions, and then abilities, hints, tips, summaries, and page numbers and how they'll appear. So this is actually page number 4. Yeah, so there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these will be the first 4 pages, and then any summaries will be bullet pointed. Hints and tips will be put into green little sections and wording, and any abilities will have a mark next to it. So the combat patrol for the Space Marines is Strike Force Octavius. That consists of the captain, which is the Warlord. This model is equipped with Storm Bolter and Relic Weapon. Librarian in Terminator armor. Which is this fellow down here. 5-man Terminator squad and 5 Infernus Marines. That is your full combat patrol. Strike Force Octavius is a pre-selected army called a combat patrol. You can use this force and other combat patrols to play missions that are found in section G core missions. So if you want to take the Space Marine combat patrol, you take those 4 units, which means you will have a character wandering around on their own because they can't join the Infernus Marines. You've got 1 unit of Terminators and 2 Terminator characters. You're going to have to make a choice who's going with it. So just to give you a look at what the strike team looks like overall, it's very small. It's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Terminators, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Infernus Marines, 1 Librarian character, 1 Captain character. It's quite a small combat patrol. Not many models, but you do have an assault cannon in there, which is nice. Lethal hits. I think is it devastating wounds it's got, and I think it's got sustained hits as well. I'm not sure. And then you've got your torrent weapons, which auto hit. Now, the Vardengast Swarm, which is your Tyranny patrol, combat patrol, it said it doesn't contain all the models that you got. So there are some in there that won't be included. But this one includes, and you get a lot more with this, it's Winged Prime as your Lord. So one of these chappies, he will be your Warlord. You'll also take a Psychophage, which is that big thing with the big one. All 20 Termagants in a single model, in a single squad, just one squad of 20 Termagants. 5-man squad of Barb Gaunts, which is quite good, especially because that taking 2 off, well, 6 in total if you use all available movement, but 6 inches of movement loss is quite a lot. And then your 3 Von Minesleepers as well. So you're getting quite a few. What issue did you get last? Because it'll usually arrive at the end-ish of whatever the next set of 4, as far as I'm aware. They deliver every 4 weeks if you're subscribed and get it straight from them. So is it going to tell us what we're actually going to be getting in the full Eldar? No, it's not. It's not going to tell us what we're getting in the full Eldar set. You son of a. So there we go. Lots of Gaunts. The Barb Gaunts. As I said, the Psychophage, which is the one with the big bum that's eating a Space Marine leg. Winged Prime down there at the front, and there's your Von Minesleepers. Oh, that is the end page. Now, in the next 2 issues should just be flat out, yeah. The next 2 issues are just going to be flat out Windriders. But we can see there, so as well as part 2 of the Windriders, 28 is going to cover Warzone Bastio and Commander Movement. Maybe extra little shenanigans to be going on in there. That'll be nice. And issue 29 will be covering Komora. Well, that's Dark Eldar, is that? That's what that is. And a new scenario. Ooh. And obviously by that point, we'll actually know what we're getting in the next 2 issues, which will be separate things, not just banks. Now, with this issue, we also get other things. So, as people have rightly spotted, there we have data sheets for the combat patrol for the Eldar. So we have a Farseer data sheet for the Guardian Defenders, the data sheet for the Windriders, and the data sheet for the Wraithlord. It is given a twin shuriken catapult just off the combat patrol. Combat patrols usually don't let you make many changes. It's just set as they are. So the Wraithlord, they've equipped a Bright Lance to it. I didn't know that. Okay, so they equipped a Bright Lance to it last week. It should also have shuriken catapults. And its Ghostglaive. Guardian Defenders, they did give it a heavy weapons platform, and that heavy weapons platform, they've equipped it with a star cannon. Strength 8. It's flat 2 damage, 2 attack, minus 3 AP. Not bad. I still prefer the Bright Lance. Just because the higher strength 12, it helps it gets. It's just better because anything toughness 11 is wounded on 3s. The minus 3 AP is the same, and it's the D6 plus 2 damage if it does get through. It's just punches so much harder. As well as all the range psychic spells and the singing spear for the Farseer. So all your data cards there, let's pop them out and put them with the others so I can remember where they are. We also have new terrain pieces and an enhancement for our Farseer by the looks of it, as well as something else. I'm not sure what this Strands of Fate thing is. So let's just pop these out because we're going to need them eventually. we don't have a codex for, well, I don't have a codex for the Eldar. Most people, I'm guessing, just starting in this won't have gone out and bought a codex yet. They won't have chosen faction properly. Got any smarts? You'll wait till you found a faction you like, and then you'll build that one up. I just happen to have 4 or 5 armies already, so yeah, I'm making changes. I never do things right the way the magazine wants me to. If you want to, you can. That's perfectly fine, but I tend not to. Let's just have a quick look at the difference between bikes, old bikes and new bikes. Okay, so this one's got the twin who do you want to call it on it. You see, there's a big difference between the old bikes and the new bikes. The way the engines are set out, the way the seat is, the way the handlebars are, even the direction of the actual foot pedals and the seating position of the actual. See, this one, he's sat very upright, whereas that one sat very far forward. That is a big difference. Even on profile, because obviously the engines are here for this one, and the engine is there for that one. That's so very different sculpt to the ones I already have. That's a bit odd. Well, no, it's not really, because they have updated the sculpt. So 4 data cards up there. We have 2 terrain pieces. And here we have your Farseer model is your warlord and has the foresight enhancement. You can replace it with the Eldritch Might if you wish. So foresight enhancement. Once per turn, you can target the bearer's unit with the Overwatch stratagem for 0 CP. If the bearer's unit is within range of an objective marker you control, hits are scored on an unmodified roll of a 4 while resolving that stratagem. Otherwise, hits are scored on an unmodified roll of 5. So that's better because you're hitting on 5s instead of 6s for Overwatch, and if you're on objective, you're hitting on 4s, so even more reliable to hit. Or you can change Foresight for Eldritch Might. Eldritch Might being, each time the bearer makes a psychic attack, reroll a hit roll of 1, reroll a wound roll of 1, and reroll a damage roll of 1. So that's very effective shooting for him. It makes more effective shooting for him. That's not bad. Okay, Strands of Fate. What Strands of Fate? Eldari live in the brink of extinction. As such, their Farseers have become adept at reading future events. At the start of the battle, make a Strands of Fate roll by rolling 12d6. Okay, now, if you wish, you can then re-roll all of these dice, but if you do, roll 1 less d6. You can continue rolling all of the dice in this manner, rolling 1 less d6 each time you do until you are satisfied with the result that is rolled, or until you have only a single d6 remaining. When you're satisfied with what you've finished rolling, those remaining dice become your fate dice for the battle. These results cannot be changed or re-rolled further, unless a rule specifically states otherwise. Keep your fate dice to one side. This is your fate dice pool. Ooh, so we have predetermined rolls here, so that sounds interesting. That does sound interesting, having predetermined rolls. Before making a dice roll for a model or a unit from your army with the Strands of Fate ability, if you have 1 or more dice from your fate pool, you can use one of those dice. To do so, select one of those fate dice to substitute the dice that was rolled. The dice that is being substituted is not rolled. Instead, the value is selected of the selected fate dice is used as if it had been rolled. This counts as an unmodified dice roll of the value for all value purposes. So if you were to pick a 6, it would be a critical hit or a critical wound if you were to put it in that situation. Each fate dice can only be used in this way once. After using a fate dice, remove it from your fate dice pool and roll all remaining dice that are part of that dice roll, if any. You can use fate dice for any of the following types of dice rolls. So you can use it for advance, battle shock tests, charge rolls, damage rolls, hit rolls, saving throws, and wound rolls. Pretty much all the important rolls then. And you get to, if you're lucky enough and get a lot of 6s on that 12, you might want to keep it. And then you get to just substitute them in one at a time. That's all right. Oh, we have agendas. And we have stratagems. Bloody Nora. Right, okay. You will use the infallible agenda secondary objective. You can replace this with a greater destiny, depending if you want. So, default secondary objective. At the end of your turn, you score 3 victory points if you control 1 or more objective markers that are not within your deployment zone and that you did not control at the start of your turn. So if you've got to be pushing on and off of objectives a lot, that might be all right. A greater destiny, which is the other one. At the end of the battle round, you score 10 victory points if 1 or more units from your army, excluding battle shot units, are wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. We're getting bikes. Bikes are pretty damn fast. That's 10 victory points. But it's at the end of the battle and it's only 10 victory points. And you can get 15 out of the other one if you can score it. If you can score it every turn. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. So what do we get for stratagems? We get whip fast reactions. When your opponent so you're activating your opponent's shooting or fighting phase just after they've selected its target. So once they pick one of your units and the target one of your units, that's when you use it. The target is either one Eldar infantry or mounted unit from your army that was selected as the target. So whichever one they've just picked. The effect. Until the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Oh, very nice. Especially if you're pushing for that greater destiny, you've gone right into your opponent's deployment zone, stick that on them. -1 to hit. Excellent. Even Space Marines are on hitting on falls. Awesome. Storm of shots using your own shooting phase. And again, you pick either 2 Eldari mounted units from your army or 1 Eldari infantry unit. Okay, so you can pick 2 mounted units, but 1 infantry. That's not bad for me. I've got 2 mounted units of 6. The effect. Until the end of phase, each time a model in one of those units makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. So more accuracy. Nice. And then you've got Zephyr Swift. At the end of your shooting phase, select up to 2 Eldari mounted models that are not in engagement range or 1 of enemies or 1 Eldari infantry. Each of those units can make a normal move of up to 6 inches. Restrictions until the end of the phase, they can't charge. So that's quite nice. That's a move, shoot, move stratagem. That's not bad. And again, it affecting 2 mounted squads, it's like the other one, Storm of Shots. So you can straight up in there. Now, what was the windrider's 14-inch move? Zoom them up in there, get them close enough so they can shoot with the longer range weapons with the Storm of Shots, adding 1 to the hit, and then use Zephyr Swift on the same 2 units, and then 6 inches back just to put them a bit further out. Right? That's a bit nasty, that is. And we get 2 more pieces of terrain, which I'm guessing is going to be quite line of. No, it's only half a container. It's not a full container. And we do get another sheet, and this sheet is models that we have not got yet, and I don't think we're going to be getting for a few weeks, at the very least. And these are chaos units. Now, I won't be building the chaos units as these chaos units. I'm going to be dedicating it all to World Eaters. All into the World Eaters. Because, as I found out, Lavarus makes a very nice proxy, not only for a Brutalis Dreadnought, but for Angron as well. So, there is that, but everything will be going to the World Eaters because it works out. If I make the Dark Apostle the Lord Executioner, I end up with basically a 2,000-point army with the 2 combat patrols and lava. It's great. It's awesome. I like proxies. They rule. They make my life easier. But we will be getting a Dark Apostle with, looks like Dark Disciples as well. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those. He comes equipped with a bolt pistol and an accursed Crozius, so he's equivalent to a chaplain. Yeah, if he's got an accursed Crozius, and that will be a character model and probably the warlord for the non-faction Chaos Force. Also, be getting a standard unit of legionaries. Now, they come with what looks to be they're going to have a melter gun, a heavy bolter, and the sergeant's going to have a plasma pistol. Now, they're going to have lots of weird heads and stuff, so I do happen to have some legionaries. Now, this one's just been primed and zenithal, standard bolt gun. Oh, he's had his tabardie thing done there. And this is one with a melter gun that I've painted purple as a trial test colour, purple and gold, to see how they went. But as I said, I will be putting everything into a World Eaters army. So I did have a little bit of a play around with World Eaters colour schemes as well. So I do have one with a chainsword and a plasma pistol, potentially to be a proxy Khan the Betrayer if I make him a better base. I know Twisted, he's going to need a much better base to be Khan the Betrayer, and he's going to need an axe. But there are other models you could get. So in this case, this one's got a very big axe, which I think I will be repainting this guy to be red again to match this fellow. And he'll be going in with my Khorne Berserkers as well to have that very nice axe flailing around. But you can flavour them other ways if you get, like, as Twisted mentioned, he got the Striking Scorpions in the Kill Team box. He would have got an upgrade sprue. And as I did when I got this one, so I've got little extra flourishes so I can make it more Tzeentchy if I wished, or more Slaaneshi if I wish, or more Nurgly if I wish. Definitely make it a little bit more Slaaneshi, make it more stabby. I want to do things. Again, not painted. If you like the word bearers, although this one will be painted to match, again, to be red and gold, but you can get a fair few different combinations out of it. There's my word bearer with the plasma gun. So color schemes, they're going to try and push it down the Black Legion, which is, that's the model I can't find. I do have 10 and I can only find 9. The one I can't find is the Black Legion model. So those are your legionaries, and they will come with extra stuff on the sprue, so you will get plasma guns and melee weapons. Regardless of how they've laid it out and what they tell you to put on it, you will get choices. Havocs. Now, Havocs are the heavy weapon specialists. Now, you're going to see, some people are going to go, there's only 8 there. You said you've got 9. That's because the 9th one got a heavy weapon. And although that is not a heavy bolter, which is what they've got on there, I think, it is a Reaper chain cannon, which is quite nice, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Or 8 shots, strength 5, no AP, 1 damage. It's okay. It's not bad. I'd probably prefer the heavy bolter just for the extra damage and AP, but never mind. So we're going to get Havocs, which are going to get heavy weapons. 4 out of 5 of them are going to have heavy weapons. They're not going to want to move very much, but they're going to have in range. Open your box, open your box, open your box, open your box, open your box. Let me cover the cards first. And the last card is a Hellbrute. Now, Hellbrutes, as far as we're aware, they don't come with many options. It's either a multi-melter or a plasma cannon, and then either a fist or a hammer in the other hand. But they are Chaos Dreadnoughts. They're not as big as the Redemptor Dreadnought. They're more the same. They're a little bit bigger than the old Stumpy Dreadnought, but they're not as tall as this fella. It's probably going to work out about yay big. They're not too far off, but not quite as tall. But it will be a chunky boy. So they've got it equipped with a plasma cannon. Nice. I'll probably put a multi-melter on it and try and steal the plasma cannon to put on some Redemptor Dreadnought as the Macroplasma Incinerator. And he comes with the Hellbrute Hammer as well, which smacks like a truck. He's not too bad. Toughness 9, 8 wounds, 2+ save, which is not bad. And he'll probably get in a combat patrol, he won't have any special rules. He'll probably have a special rule that makes him go a bit nuts from the actual Chaos Codex. So let's take those out, and then what time are we on now? We're on 5 to 12, Graham. We're on 5 to 12. I will open your box. I will open your box. As Graham is here, as a bonus, rather than putting the other bike together, I'm going to open a delivery of a future project. Mainly because I think Graham wants me to check that everything's there and it's all arrived safely. So take those cards out. I'm going to need to keep this magazine because it tells me how to put the other board together. Wonderful. But now, Mr. Hobby Corner. These are another item that I have purchased from Rogue's Den Hobbies. Now, he's not in the description. It's supposed to be in the description when I'm doing a live unboxing. But Graham's getting a bit eager. So, I might clip this off the end and just put it on afterwards. But this has been delivered from Rogue's Den Hobbies. And it is a unit of not Space Marines, but they should be about the same size. This, because I don't play in tournaments, my mates should let me get away with using them for nice models when I need to make sure it's clearly defined what it is. And these will be very clearly defined. So, base packaging first. And now we have, oh dear, oh doggy. We have pack number 1. I ordered 2 sets because I'm an idiot. Well, I'm not an idiot. I wanted 2 sets, but I ordered 2 sets. And it comes with, obviously, torsos and bodies and tactical rocks, as well as, obviously, arms to go with them and heads to go on them. But the main reason I wanted them is because there's a unit that I do not have, and I'm reluctant to spend Games Workshop prices on getting them. But this unit will do perfectly, and it is the Desolation Marines. Now, that fits nicely. It's going to require super glue. I can't do this with plastic glue. That missile launcher. I should have a couple of different choices of missile launcher, I believe. Yeah, there's the other one. Because you can... What they're equipped with, the Desolation Marines, they're equipped with 3 different weapons. But these ones that you can get from Rogue's Den Hobbies, they have... Unlike the Desolation Marines, they can have essentially a more cannon, more gun style launcher, like that, which is this style, which fits quite nicely for the frag. Lots of little smaller missiles in it, ready to be launched out of it. Or you can go for the square one, which I had out a moment ago, which is this one, which is essentially your super cracks. And I did say they have 3 options. What you could do, if you are so inclined, is take a little hobby saw, take that hand off, glue that onto there, and then you have not only the super crack, but the Castellan launcher as well. Or you can keep these and convert more squads and have more Desolation Marines. It's going to be awesome. Now, heads. Oh, that's handy. The backpacks are already built on, so there's no looking for backpacks. The one thing I am looking for at the moment is heads and aha. Now, this is the other reason I wanted it, because not only do you get the missile launchers, which I want, you also get other little bits with it, which in this case is a nice power claw or a power fist. So I can start upgrading my sergeants as well now, with better weapons, and so all in all, that is quite a nice as a dry fit. I just need to find a head with it being in here. I'm guessing all the heads are going to have fallen into the bottom corner because that's where heads always fall. There's one. I can see a head as well. Get a head out, and not too dissimilar, so I can get away with it. I think. I mean, they don't look like Space Marines, but they're close enough that my mates won't bother. So there we go. So now I can have nice missile launcher squad, 2 of them. So that's I've got 2 bags of that. However, it's me and Rogue's Den hobbies, and nothing I do is ever simple with that place. I'm sorry, Graham. I am. So I've got bag number 1 of them and bag number 2 of them. I also have a few test pieces. Thank you for printing these. Thank you for printing these off. Which ones are these? Is this the extra heads and the extra gubbins? Yes. So this is unhelmeted heads. I know I don't like unhelmeted heads, but I wanted to see what they were like, as well as purity seals and grenades and like gun pouches and basically all the gubbins and stuff that all the Space Marines have on them, but these don't because they're not Space Marines. I can now put something similar to said gubbins on them so they don't stand out quite as much in my armor. He's even got a little bell bit so I can hand them down from like crotch areas and stuff. Scopes, additional, nice little plates and radars to go on and for like apothecaries and tech priests and stuff. So that's all the little gubbins is, but there should be another gubbins is bag. Good. Hello, Lee. Good afternoon. It is afternoon now. So put that back in there. Because I don't want to lose them. I'm not starting this project just yet. I want to get all my Tyranids first. So, before I start. Oh no, these 2 bags. Graham, have you sent me extras? Ooh. What's in this bag? You rule. I didn't know I was getting this one. Right, I'm going to leave that one there. Because I'm going back to that one in a second. And that's where Graham just cheers up a little bit. He's like, ha, 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 ha. That's the smile I wanted to see. Yes, you will get a smile from that one. Right. This is the bit that I want. This is the other bit that I was looking forward to because this bit has got hammers. Hammer! As well as smaller things that can be used as clubs and lots of melee weapons such as serrated knives. Some of these are going to come in very handy when I'm doing the fuck are they called? World Eaters. I just said it all those many times. No worries, Steve. Thanks for calling back though. Your Dark Angels army is fucking huge, and it depends what you're taking into account. If you take it into account official pieces or unofficial pieces. Ooh, I've also got a sniper bottle there. That's nice. And some shields. And what looks to be, are you holding? Yeah, that's the stock. That's the arm holding the stock for the gun. Hammers, shields, pistols, clubs. Lots of one-handed. It is an unboxing, but this is all from Rogue's Den Hobbies. So these are the Space Bears. So that's all the one-handed melee weapons. And then you still get a few in here, like I will do a proper actual one sort through and go, this is what we get. But this is just an unboxing because I'm a little kid and I want to see what I've got. Now, those are the bags that I understood that I knew I was getting, which is the 2 packs of yeah, 2 packs of Desolation Marines and the extra weapons pack. I knew I was getting them. This bag I didn't know. So I'm going to look in here and get them out. And on this bag, I have 4 bases. One line, Graham. I'll let you off. There you go. Done. Sorry. So I have some 3D printed bases that already have details on them, such as bike wheels, tree stumps, missiles in the ground, skeleton on this one. Oh, that's nice. Skeleton. And that looks just like the corkback rock that I've been using for Lazarus, so that'll fit in nicely with. Ooh, where's that guy gone? These will be getting used to bulk up some of my first bar Marines characters, I think, because they'll raise some of them will raise up. Oh, there's one more. There we go. See, now they've got a nice little bit of height to them. They're not too tall, so they're about yeah, they're the same size as these ones, but they just sit a little bit higher. I mean, some of this would be really nice. Where's it? Where is he? Where have you gone, you little fucker? There you are. So you're having something like him stood in there with the skeleton, or even stood over that gap, and then I could highlight up like, oh, you're giving me so many ideas. 5 bases. 5 bases. I left one in the bag and couldn't see it. So yeah, 5 bases. So there is a lot of fun I can be having with them. Very nice. There are some lovely details on those, aren't there? Part of me wants to get them painted up now, at least like based and dry brushed, and then cut some models off, and then start sticking things down, and possibly start working on my World Leaders Force now before I've even got a model for it. So that is awesome. Thank you very much, Graham. Thank you so much. My note bases are nice. So I have my 2 Desolation Squads proxies to be building with my extra heads, if I should wish, and my extra gubbins bits and the extra 1-arm bits, so I can start customizing some of the intercessors. For instance, like this chap, I can strip him back down, and now I can stick a claw on one hand or a hammer in the other, and he can lead an intercessor squad. But it's fucking fun to hammer. Oh, I've been missing out so much on that. On these, I know I said I'm putting them away, but I'm still going back into the bag. I mean, look at that. The chains round it, the fur, even. See, that's what the fur was supposed to look like on the bear. That would be easier to actually do. GW tires are going to, and any tires for basing are going to be excellent. So yeah, 5 in each. Obviously, with the sergeant having a tactical rock, and the rest being more flush. So 5 torsos with backpacks on. The only thing you need to do is put heads on and arms on. See, that's a lot easier than looking for wrong numbers. It is, isn't it? It's a great big smile. You can't. I don't think I could deny that I'm happy with this if I wanted to. So yeah, missile launchers, awesome. Oh, wait a minute, I've got different arms. Left and right arms for missile launchers. I've got left and right arm missile launchers. Oh, this is going to get getting fun. Right. This is going to take a lot of pairing up and decision and making. Because, well, 2 bags of them. So, yeah. double check that I am looking at 2 bags of, yeah, there's the missile launchers, there's the guys, as well as all the extra stuff that we'd normally get with it, such as power claws. I mean, come on, look at that. Just look at those. Just, yeah, great little, just awesome power claws. Oh, I mean, power fist would suffice for it. I don't think anybody's got a whinge if I say it's a power fist. You get axes in this one as well. Cool. So we get axes as well. Just in case shooting you will miss our work enough. So, well, no, because I've got power claws, I've got thunder hammers, I've got chain knives, I've got axes, I've got clubs. Hopefully, some of these are going to be able to help convert the Terminators as well. I like a close combat unit. Oh, I might have some old Terminators that might be able to go close combat. That'll be fun, wouldn't it? Anyway, that's for another day. Thank you, everybody, for turning up today who's looked at the Combat Patrol and got the nice little unboxing. It's like in the bloody candy shop. Again, if you would like those models, please go check out Rogue's Den Hobbies. That is where I bought them from. That is where I bought Lazarus from. That is where I got the Knight from that I sent over to areas in the nation over in Maryland that I painted for. Well, that's where pretty much I'm getting most of my 3D prints from at the moment, and my third-party models. Magical World aside, but that's separate now. That's all the models got for that, so there won't be any more getting for that. Rogue's Den Hobbies, however, I may. Who am I kidding? I'll be getting some more stuff from there as stuff goes on. But yes, thank you everybody for coming to see me today, and hopefully we will put another bike together next week and cover what comes in that magazine. Who knows? I may have another delivery. No, I'm not going to order it just yet. But yeah, that's the magazine covered for today. We know we're getting over the next 2 weeks. It's just the rest of the bikes. We won't find out until next week what kind of getting more going off those cards. I'm guessing it's chaos. And as I said, I'm putting all my chaos into the World Eaters, every last single one of them. So that's it for tonight, or today, this morning, whatever time of day it is near you. Have a good one. Drive safe. I'll see you on Thursday.